At 3 in the morning, the ocean is dark, the water is cold, and every instinct in your body is telling you to get out. But you are not allowed to move. An instructor is shouting directly into your face while waves roll over your body again and again. Your clothes are soaked. Your breathing is becoming harder to control. And somewhere in the back of your mind is a simple question: how long can you keep doing this? For a Navy SEAL candidate, this is not a test of how much pain you can tolerate. It is a test of whether you can remain functional when your body is exhausted, your senses are overwhelmed, and quitting seems like the most reasonable option. This kind of training is designed around a simple principle. Physical strength matters, but under extreme conditions, judgment matters more. The journey begins with basic underwater demolition SEAL training, better known as BUD/SSESH. The program lasts roughly 6 months and is divided into phases that test physical endurance, water confidence, combat skills, and the ability to function under relentless stress. Then comes the week that has become almost legendary, Hell Week. For several days, candidates receive very little sleep while being pushed through running, swimming, carrying heavy boats and logs, obstacle courses, and repeated physical events. The cold water is only part of the challenge. Sleep deprivation changes the way the brain works. Simple decisions become difficult. Small mistakes become dangerous. And that is precisely the point. The instructors are not trying to discover who can suffer the most. They are trying to identify who can continue making sound decisions when suffering becomes unavoidable. Only a fraction of those who begin the process eventually earn the SEAL Trident. And even after training ends, the real responsibility begins. SEAL teams are built around small, highly trained units capable of conducting missions from the sea, the air, or the ground. Their history includes maritime reconnaissance, direct action, hostage rescue, special reconnaissance, and counterterrorism. They can enter a target area from a submarine, arrive by helicopter, or approach from the water using specialized diving equipment. Their reputation was established over decades of classified and highly dangerous operations. The modern SEAL teams were created in 1962 during the Kennedy administration, drawing on earlier American traditions of naval combat demolition and unconventional warfare. Kennedy believed the United States needed specialized forces capable of responding quickly to conflicts that conventional military formations were not designed to handle. Since then, SEALs have operated across some of the most dangerous environments on Earth. In 2011, SEAL Team 6, officially known as the Naval Special Warfare Development Group, participated in Operation Neptune Spear, the raid that killed Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. SEALs were also involved in the 2009 rescue of Captain Richard Phillips after he was captured by Somali pirates. But the public image of the SEALs represents only one part of the American Special Operations world, because while the SEALs approach a mission from the sea, another force specializes in arriving from almost anywhere. Imagine standing inside a military aircraft with a parachute strapped to your back. Below you is an active conflict zone. The doors open. You jump. There is no guarantee that the landing area is secure. No guarantee that the enemy is not waiting. And no guarantee that you will be leaving the same way you arrived. This is the world of the 75th Ranger Regiment. The Rangers are the Army's premier light infantry special operations force, designed for rapid direct action, raids, airfield seizures, and other missions where speed and overwhelming force matter. Their lineage reaches back centuries. Although the modern 75th Ranger Regiment was established in 1984 after the Army reorganized its Ranger forces. Unlike units whose missions depend heavily on remaining unseen, Rangers are often designed to strike quickly, seize an objective, and create enough momentum for the rest of the force to follow. Their training is demanding even before a Ranger joins the regiment. Many candidates attend Ranger School, one of the Army's most difficult leadership courses. The course lasts roughly 2 months and places soldiers in environments where food and sleep are deliberately restricted while leadership demands remain high. The lesson is not simply how to survive exhaustion. It is how to lead while exhausted. That distinction becomes important in combat. Rangers have conducted some of America's most famous special operations. including the invasion of Grenada in 1983, operations in Panama in 1989, and the Battle of Mogadishu in Somalia in 1993. The events in Mogadishu later became the basis for the book and film Black Hawk Down. Since the 11th of September 2001, Rangers have been heavily involved in America's wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, conducting thousands of raids and direct action missions. But even the Rangers are not designed to solve every problem, because sometimes the most important objective is not destroying an enemy. It is changing the battlefield before the enemy realizes a battlefield exists. That is where the Green Berets enter the story. The Army Special Forces soldier is not primarily trained to overwhelm an enemy with numbers. He is trained to work through other people. Green Berets specialize in unconventional warfare, foreign internal defense, special reconnaissance, direct action, and training and advising partner forces. The modern Army Special Forces were established in 1952, during the early years of the Cold War, when American strategists recognized that conflicts could be fought without conventional armies facing each other directly. A Green Beret might spend months teaching soldiers from another country how to plan operations, improve their communications, organize their units, or survive an insurgency. The Green Beret has to understand more than weapons. He may need to understand another country's politics, geography, culture, military traditions, and language. Special Forces soldiers are organized into Operational Detachment Alpha teams, commonly called ODAs. A standard ODA contains 12 soldiers, with different members specializing in weapons, engineering, communications, and medical skills. While all are expected to operate as adaptable members of the team, their missions have taken them to Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Latin America, Africa, and numerous other regions. Their motto is De Oppresso Liber, liberate the oppressed. But unconventional warfare is rarely simple. A small team may arrive in a country where the United States does not want to deploy a conventional army and begin working with local forces whose goals do not perfectly match Washington's. That requires diplomacy, judgment, and an understanding that a battlefield is not always defined by a front line. And then there are the Marine Raiders, the modern Marine Forces Special Operations Command, known as MARSOC, emerged in the years following the 11th of September as the Marine Corps developed a permanent role inside U.S. Special Operations Command. Its operators are known as Marine Raiders, a name deliberately connected to the Marine Raiders of World War II. The original Marine Raiders conducted unconventional amphibious operations throughout the Pacific. Their modern successors operate in a completely different technological environment, using advanced communications, intelligence systems, night vision, drones, and modern special operations equipment. Becoming a Raider requires more than simply being an excellent Marine. Candidates must survive a demanding assessment and selection process designed to determine whether they can function effectively under physical and psychological pressure. Those who make it through can conduct direct action, special reconnaissance, and foreign internal defense missions. Marine Raiders have operated in the Middle East, Africa, and the Indo-Pacific, often working alongside American and foreign special operations forces. Their role overlaps with other elite units, but their Marine background gives them a distinct combination of expeditionary combat skills and special operations capabilities. And sometimes the people needed to win a mission are not the ones carrying the main assault weapons. Sometimes they are the people controlling the sky. High above the battlefield, another specialized force is preparing to enter: Air Force Special Tactics. These operators combine skills that are rarely found together. They can fight on the ground. They can control aircraft. And some are trained to provide advanced medical care under combat conditions. Their job is often to make the impossible operation possible. A special operations team may reach a remote location, but someone has to determine where an aircraft can land. A helicopter may be approaching a battlefield, but someone has to coordinate the airspace. A wounded soldier may be trapped in an active combat zone, but someone has to reach that person and keep them alive until evacuation. Air Force Special Tactics personnel can perform those functions in some of the most dangerous environments imaginable. Combat controllers are trained to establish and control airfields and coordinate aircraft in hostile environments. Parasquimmen, known as PJs, specialize in recovering and treating personnel in isolated or dangerous locations. Other specialists, including special operations, surgical teams, and tactical air control personnel, provide additional capabilities to special operations forces. Their training can take years. It can involve advanced medicine, parachuting, diving, survival training, communications, weapons, and air-ground integration. Their history includes operations in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and numerous other conflicts. In some missions, a single specialist may be helping coordinate aircraft while enemy fire is still active around the landing zone. They are not necessarily the force that starts the operation. They are often the force that makes sure everyone has a way out. But there is another level of American special operations where even the identity of the organization can become difficult to discuss: Delta Force. Officially, the unit is the 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta. Its existence is no longer a secret, but many details about its organization, operations, personnel, and capabilities remain classified. The unit was created in 1977 by Army officer Charles Beckwith, who had studied Britain's Special Air Service and believed the United States needed a comparable counterterrorism capability. The idea was to create a highly flexible force capable of responding to terrorism, hostage situations, and other missions requiring specialized assault and reconnaissance skills. Recruitment is generally drawn from experienced soldiers rather than civilians. Candidates must already possess significant military experience, and selection places extraordinary pressure on physical endurance, land navigation, judgment, and psychological resilience. The objective is not simply to discover who is strongest, it is to find people who can continue thinking when plans collapse. Delta operators have participated in major American operations for decades, including missions in Panama, Somalia, Iraq, Afghanistan, and other locations. The unit is associated with some of the most sensitive counterterrorism missions in American history. Its operators do not generally seek public recognition. There are no conventional recruitment advertisements telling the public what they do. Their most important missions may never become public at all. And if Delta is the force responsible for what happens on the ground, another organization may be responsible for making sure it knows exactly where to go. The intelligence support activity, often associated with the nickname The Activity, occupies an unusually secretive corner of the American special operations world. Its mission centers on intelligence collection in support of special operations. That can include signals intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, communications intelligence, and other specialized forms of information gathering. The basic idea is simple. Before an elite team enters a target area, someone needs to understand what is happening there. Who is moving? Which communications are being used? Where is the target? What routes are available? What has changed since the last intelligence report? The answers can determine whether an operation succeeds or fails. Much of what is publicly reported about the unit is incomplete, disputed, or classified, so its exact organization and capabilities remain difficult to establish from open sources. But its role reflects a broader reality of modern special operations. The most important weapon is often information, and sometimes information has to be collected without anyone realizing that an American intelligence team is there. Then there are the pilots who carry these forces into the darkness. The 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, better known as the Night Stalkers, exists for one fundamental reason: to fly special operations missions that ordinary aviation units are not equipped to perform. The regiment was created in 1981 after the failed 1980 attempt to rescue American hostages in Iran exposed serious weaknesses in America's ability to conduct complex long-range special operations aviation. The military needed pilots who could fly farther, lower, faster, and with greater precision under conditions that would overwhelm conventional aviation. The result was a specialized aviation regiment built around that mission. Night Stalkers train extensively for nighttime operations, difficult weather, low-level flight, precision landings, and the insertion and extraction of special operations forces. Their aircraft are modified and equipped specifically for these missions. The regiment has supported operations involving Rangers, Green Berets, SEALs, Delta Force, and other special operations organizations. During the raid that killed Osama bin Laden, Special Operations Aviation was essential to getting the assault force into Pakistan and back out again. In other operations, Night Stalker crews have flown into areas where there was barely enough room to land, sometimes while enemy forces were actively trying to stop them. For the passengers inside those helicopters, the aircraft is transportation. For the pilots, it is part of the weapon system. And the difference between success and disaster can come down to a few seconds, a few feet, or a single decision made in darkness. But not every special operation involves shooting someone. Some of the most consequential missions are fought with information, relationships, and influence. That is where civil affairs and psychological operations enter the picture. Civil affairs teams work directly with civilian populations and local authorities in conflict zones. Their responsibilities can include helping restore essential services, communicating with local leaders, assessing infrastructure, and supporting relationships between military forces and civilian communities. Their work can determine whether a military operation creates stability or simply creates another problem. Psychological operations, now formally known as military information support operations, operate in a different space. Their purpose is to influence behavior and perceptions through carefully designed information that can involve radio broadcasts, printed material, digital messaging, face-to-face communication, and other methods of information dissemination. The objective may be persuading enemy forces to surrender, encouraging civilians to cooperate, countering hostile propaganda, or undermining an adversary's ability to maintain support. In modern warfare, influence does not require a bomb. Sometimes the most important target is what people believe. And that leads to perhaps the most complicated layer of all. The Central Intelligence Agency, unlike the military units discussed so far, the CIA is not a military branch. It is America's principal civilian foreign intelligence agency. But over the decades, it has developed capabilities that can intersect directly with military operations, including covert action and relationships with foreign forces. The distinction matters. A military unit operates under military authorities and a military chain of command. The CIA operates under a different legal and political framework. Its most sensitive activities can be conducted covertly, allowing the United States government to maintain what is known as plausible deniability in certain circumstances. That does not mean the United States can simply deny anything it wants. It means that covert operations are structured so that the government's role may not be publicly acknowledged. One of the clearest examples came after the 11th of September, 2001. Before large numbers of American conventional troops entered Afghanistan, CIA officers and U.S. Special Forces teams were already working with Afghan partners against the Taliban. They carried communications equipment, intelligence, and money. They met with local commanders. They built relationships. And they helped prepare the ground for the military campaign that followed. When American air power and conventional forces expanded the operation, the groundwork had already been laid. This is a completely different form of warfare. A soldier can seize a building, and intelligence officers may spend months building a relationship that changes what happens inside that building without ever entering it. CIA personnel can work under diplomatic or other covers, depending on their assignment and legal authorities. They may recruit sources, collect intelligence, conduct covert action, and support American strategic objectives far from the battlefield. Many of these operations remain classified for years or decades. Some may never become public, and that is what makes the American Special Operations System so difficult to understand from the outside. It is not one force. It is an ecosystem. The SEALs bring maritime special operations. The Rangers bring speed and direct action infantry power. Green Berets build and advise foreign forces. Marine Raiders provide another specialized expeditionary capability. Air Force Special Tactics connects operators to aircraft, air power, and combat rescue. Delta Force handles some of the nation's most sensitive counterterrorism missions. Specialized intelligence units search for information that others cannot obtain. The Night Stalkers move people through environments where conventional aircraft cannot. Civil affairs and information specialists fight for influence among populations. And the CIA operates beyond the traditional boundaries of military power, shaping events through intelligence and covert action. None of these organizations is invincible. Their training does not eliminate fear. Their technology does not eliminate uncertainty. And their reputation does not guarantee that every mission will succeed. Special operations are still conducted by human beings, operating in environments where one mistake can have consequences far beyond the people inside the mission. That is why the mythology surrounding these units can sometimes obscure the reality. The most difficult part is not always the jump from the aircraft. It is not always the cold water. It is not always the firefight. Sometimes the hardest decision is knowing when not to pull the trigger. Sometimes it is convincing a foreign commander to trust you. Sometimes it is treating a wounded teammate while people are shooting around you. Sometimes it is flying a helicopter into a landing zone that barely exists. And sometimes it is spending months building an operation that may never be publicly acknowledged. The United States has built these forces because modern conflict rarely follows the neat boundaries of conventional war. Enemies do not always wear uniforms. Battles do not always happen on battlefields. And wars can begin long before the public realizes that anything has changed. That is the real power of special operations, not simply the ability to strike. The ability to operate where conventional forces cannot, to solve problems that conventional formations are not designed to solve, and sometimes to change the course of an entire conflict before most people even know the operation has begun. And when the mission is over, the people who carried it out may disappear back into the system. No parade, no public celebration, sometimes not even a name, just another classified report, another closed file, and another operation that most of the world may never know happened. We uncover the people, operations, and decisions behind some of the most extraordinary stories in modern history. And if you think you know how America's most secretive forces really operate, watch the next documentary, Two Stewart to Nova Reports, because the stories you hear about are only part of the story.